When it comes to hollow body frog fishing in the fall and you're fishing your frog into thick stuff, sometimes it's not only bass that live in there. Welcome back to another episode of Bassing with Captain Lou. That's right, I am back, and as promised, here's my second video of the week, and it's going to be all about hollow body frog fishing out in the Everglades right now in the fall. Trust me folks, you guys do not want to miss this video because I am going to be covering a whole bunch of information that's going to make you guys better frog fishermen in the Everglades, especially in the fall. Now before I continue with the video, I have to make a public safety announcement. I got to make a public safety announcement because I need you guys to understand something. Not only do largemouth bass live in deep cover and deep vegetation, there are other animals that live inside deep vegetation, and they're called alligators. We have plenty of them, and you got to be very careful where you throw your hollow body frog, because in this particular clip, I swore to God that I caught a nice big bass, and what I caught was an alligator. Check out what happens. Fortunately, the frog and everybody's okay, but man, was that quite the fight. Wasn't that crazy? I can't believe I recovered that frog. Yeah, I had a tooth mark or two, whatever, but I can't believe I recovered that frog, and I was still able to continue the outing with that particular frog, even though if you look at it, it looks in pretty bad shape. But I'm telling you, man, these hollow body frogs are tough. Now in today's video, I am going to be covering several important points in regards to hollow body frog fishing out here in the Everglades. Number one, I'm going to be covering and doing a little bit of a deep dive as far as the type of gear. This is a non-negotiable for me, so I'm going to cover it with you guys because it's extremely important, especially for people who are taking up frog fishing for the very first time, or if you're a South Florida transplant. You guys need to really understand the type of gear you need to be fishing out in the Everglades when it comes to hollow body frog fishing. The other area I'm going to be talking about is the fishing line you need to really be considering. And last and foremost, I'm going to be talking to you guys about where you should be throwing your hollow body frog and how you should be working your hollow body frog in these specific areas that I'm going to cover right now. When it comes to frog fishing gear, regardless of the time of season, fall, winter, spring, whatever, if you're going to be fishing thick type of cover, you got to be using a heavy rod. Okay? And when I mean heavy, I don't mean heavy in weight. I just mean heavy in the power, meaning a rod that could handle a lot of abuse and it could get that bass out of very thick cover. Now, as far as that rod length, I like me personally, I like fishing with rods that anywhere between 7'3" to 7'6". I find that that's the sweet spot for me to be able to lay into those bass nice and comfortably and get them out of cover. For you fishermen out there who are a little bit more seasoned and you guys fish hollow body frogs a lot, the other type of factor that I take into account in regards to my frog fishing rods is I like them extra fast. What does that mean? Meaning that I don't like having too much of a taper on my heavy rods when I'm frog fishing. What I like is those extra fast rods. When those bass strike, I like to have a very quick tip so I could lay into them very, very quickly and get them out of cover as quickly as possible. When it comes to fishing line, this is going to be very quick, folks. Braid, 50-pound minimum, this conversation's over. When talking about reels, I like using bait casting reels. I like using fast bait casting reels. The minimum speed that you should be considering is a 7-speed or a 7 ratio, okay? Nothing less than that. If you do, you're just opening yourself up for a disappointment. So I do 7-speed. If you like to go, you could go higher. You could go 8 speeds or 9 speeds, but you need a very fast reel to complement that heavy rod, and you can get that bass out of cover very, very quickly. When it comes to hollow body frogs, you choose the type of frog you want to throw. I specifically love throwing Spro hollow body frogs. They have not let me down. Okay, that alligator grabbed the Spro frog, and look, that Spro frog is still kicking. It may not look that good, but it doesn't look that good because it caught a lot of bass, and I still haven't retired it yet. Now, as far as where you should be throwing your frog or where you should be fishing your frog right now in the Everglades, if you guys saw my last video in regards to top water fishing in the fall, you guys know that I briefly talked about this, or I actually spoke to it in depth, and that was the type of areas that I focus on this time of year. This time of year, I like fishing closed systems. And what did I mean by that? What I mean by that is I like fishing canal systems that do not offer any type of marsh access. Reason for it is because right now, those areas are a little bit tough to fish because those fish are migrating in and out of those areas because of the high water. But if I fished a closed system, the concentration of fish I find personally are a little higher, and the fish are contained in these closed type of canal systems. This is a very important area that I'm about to cover, and that is where to throw your hollow body frog right now. You can throw your hollow body frog in many types of fishy places. And what do I mean by that? Obviously, you want to be throwing your frog in types of heavy type of thick cover, sparse to median type of cover. Lily pads and different types of vegetations offer great refuge for bass right now. They'll be hiding in there, lying in ambush. Other areas that you need to be considering as well is the type of structure. I like working rocky structure. I like working rocky ledges and stuff like that, because the rocky ledges and those type of structures offer current breaks where those bass are able to sit in there, lie in wait at a current break, and then ambush their prey as it comes by. And what better prey than a hollow body frog? Another area that a lot of people miss and they bypass altogether is the bank line. Reason for it is because the bank line offers very good current breaks. You see, some of these areas have a very, very little bank. It's like a little bank. It's only about a foot of a bank, and then it drops off into the canal. So those little shallow areas offer excellent current breaks. And what you'll find, surprisingly enough, is you'll find some very nice bass like to hang out in very, very shallow water. And I'm talking about inches deep. If you don't believe me, start fishing the shallows and fish those banks, and you tell me what kind of bass you're catching. When it comes to working your frog, the sky is the limit. Do not pigeonhole yourself and fish your frog one way. Yes, walking the frog is a very common way to fish the hollow body frog. Absolutely, I'm in agreement with that. However, there are different ways to fish your frog. You could pulse it, meaning you just do light tips of the rod tip and just pulse that frog and pause. That just causes the frog to go up and down and just pause. It gives the chance for the skirts to open to simulate the legs relaxing, and sometimes you're going to get some very explosive strikes on that pause. Here's another trick that I really don't talk about, and that is swimming your frog. What do I mean by that? Treat your frog as a swim bait on top. Talking about explosive strikes, that is one of the most effective techniques to fish the hollow body frog. And what you simply do is you cast it towards the bank around moderate to thick cover, and you just start, first of all, you point your rod tip at the frog and you start reeling that frog towards you. And you're going to find that frog is just going to start moving. It's going to start parting that water. And you just go slowly like a swim bait on top of the water. And trust me, folks, if the bass are looking for something moving and they see that frog profile moving in the vegetation, hold on to that rod, because the explosion is going to be crazy. Now, the last important area I'm going to cover for you guys is your hook sets. When it comes to hollow body frog fishing, you have to set that hook hard. A lot of people don't understand how hard you really need the hook set. I mean, sometimes you see these videos, and especially in my videos, and you see me lay into them. There is a reason why you need to lay into them. Because if you don't, you are going to have your heart broken. Trust me, folks, this is not like drop shot fishing. You just don't, just do a nice little hook set and the bass is going to be there. No, folks. You got to lay into those bass, and you got to lay into that frog to really penetrate and get those hooks driven inside the bass's mouth. Now, the million-dollar question I get asked often is, Cap, when should I hook set hollow body frog fishing? And that's an excellent question, okay? Because the train of thought is when you see your hollow body frog and there's an explosion, okay, the rule of thumb is count to 3, count to 4, reel in the slack, set the hook. That works sometimes. But there are situations where you're only going to get the number whoa out of your mouth, and that bass has taken that frog and has spit out that frog. So when it comes to hollow body frog fishing, my advice is to be a line watcher and be a frog watcher. I understand that the explosions are very violent. There's water that splashes all over the place. You swear to God, I fall for it too. I'll show you right here. I fall for it too all the time. Sometimes beautiful explosion. I swear that bass got it. I set the hook, and it's all nothing but air. You got to take your time, okay? I know it's exciting because I get all excited. Okay, you have to watch what's going on. When that water clears, if that frog's not there, you're setting. If that water blows up and you see that line moving, you're setting. Okay, so you have to play around with that hook set time, because sometimes they hit it and spit it out quickly, and sometimes they hit it and hold on to it for a very long time. The last area I'm going to talk about with you guys is what time should I throw my hollow body frog. Folks, if you haven't noticed, I go against the grain when it comes to everything when it comes to fishing. I let the fish tell me what to do, and I've always done that. So, for example, you're going to hear fish first thing in the morning and fish right before the evening. There's a lot of daylight between sunrise and sunset. So sometimes in the Everglades, right now especially, you're going to be catching bass in the middle of the day. I was catching bass in the middle of the day the other day. I was having a ball. The sun right on top of my head, still catching bass in inches of water, okay? So again, let the bass be your guide to tell you when to throw the hollow body frog. Do not pigeonhole yourself when it comes to hollow body frog fishing, because sometimes it could be an all-day affair and you're missing out on beautiful fish because you're following other people's sets of rules. So there you guys have it, hollow body frog fishing in the fall. It could be extremely exciting. It could be very, very fun. I know I was talking quick and I know I blew by a lot of very cool information, but as you guys can tell, I'm very excited to be in front of the camera and talking to you guys again. But if you want, you could ask me questions down below. Go ahead and comment down below. Ask me any questions you guys want in regards to hollow body frog fishing, and we could have a very lengthy conversation in regards to this topic because I'm very passionate and I enjoy this technique so much. Like this video, share this video, better yet, subscribe. The community is growing. You guys want to have a fun and entertaining day out in the water, go ahead and check out my website, bassitwithcaptainlou.com. Look up the guide package that suits you best. Book a trip. Let's go fishing, because right now the fishing is unbelievable in the Everglades. I will see you guys again soon. Take care of yourselves.